Have you ever been to a concert? Or better yet, have you ever been to one of those clubs where you sit there and the lighting is dark and somebody is up there singing? And if the person who's singing is of the opposite sex, so if you're a female and the entertainer is a male, or vice versa, you're a male watching a female entertainer, something happens. You start feeling connected to this singer. Now, please don't think that's love. That is just admiration. And sometimes we mistake admiration for I have feelings for this person or I'm in love with this person. So know how we fall in love. You know, back in my undergraduate, when I was studying behavior modification, I did a workshop because part of my schooling for the School Without Walls had to do with, excuse me, coming up with ways to prove that I knew something. And I would have to do a paper, or in this particular case, I actually did a workshop. I did a workshop probably, I don't know, about 20, 25, no, maybe 30 years ago. And it was about how do we fall in love? And I remember this one case, this one couple, it was so interesting. She was a short girl. And when she was in high school, she dated football players. They were really tall. So whenever that they would hug her, she would feel protected because they were big and burly and kind of like a big bear. And she just felt really great. Well, she, at the time that I was seeing her, she was dating a boy who wasn't. A boy who was probably about her size. And so she says to me, you know, he's everything I wanted. I mean, mentally, everything I wanted, but I'm just, you know, the chemistry isn't there. So when she told me the story about the chemistry, about these other guys from high school, about the football players, I got this idea. I go, let me try something. So I took them outside and I had him stand on a curb and I had her stand on the street. So he was probably about 4 inches taller than her at that point. And I said, okay, hug her. And as soon as he hugged her, she said, oh my God, I've got the feelings back. Isn't that interesting? So how she fell in love was this feeling, this sensation. So if you're at a concert, if you're listening to somebody singing and you start feeling a feeling, you're going to think that it's love. You're going to think that that's what it is. But we need to both our head and our heart. So if your heart or your body is feeling a certain way that they call chemistry, but your mind is telling you, is this a good person or not? Is this a person that I could spend my life with? You need both. You need to analyze this person and to figure out. And a great way to analyze the person is to ask them the question, who do you admire and why? Now, why is that an important question? When they tell you who they admire, what they're doing is they're telling you what's important to them. So for example, if you're out on a first date and you ask the guy, you know, who do you admire and why? And the guy says, well, I admire my dad. Okay, now granted, you're not a man. But he's telling you, I admire my dad because he was such a hard worker. He put our family first. Everybody, you know, was important. He would take us on vacations. He would plan everything. So he's describing to you the kind of woman he would be willing to give up being a boy for. Now you're over there listening to this and you have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, am I that? Am I somebody that'll put everybody before me? Am I somebody who is a hard worker? Do I get up in the morning and do what needs to be done? And if that isn't you, then don't take a second date, because he might fall in love with you because he might have feelings for you, but the long-term commitment comes from what they admire, because what you admire and why never goes away. Love goes up and down. Because here's the secret. Ladies, listen in. The secret is this. The feeling of love is attached to not having judgment, blame, or criticism. So here's what happens and why it breaks down, okay? Whatever they admire, if they don't see it in you over time, they're going to start to criticize you. They're going to start to find fault with you. They're going to go, well, you're not the woman I thought you were. And then that feeling or that mindset of judging you or blaming you or criticizing you will erode that feeling of love. So it's critically important to know your value, know what's important to him, and that you are it. Don't try to kid yourself. Don't try to become what he wants you to become. Either you're it or you're not it. So I hope this helps to understand why relationships fall apart after it's like, well, we loved each other at the beginning, yeah, but love fades. Love will go away when there is judgment, blame, and criticism. And you will be criticized if, in fact, he doesn't see the same things he values in you. All right? So I hope you understand this. If you've got any questions or any comments, just let me know. I will respond. Thank you. Sending you all the love in the world. Remember, be love. Mwah.